What's up everyone, welcome back to another video on the channel. Today I'll be going through my week 2 AFL finals predictions, aka my semi-finals predictions for the final series this week. They're only going to be the 2 games obviously, so a bit of a shorter video, but we do have a few other things to go over as well. Just like last week, I'll also do another ticket giveaway for the Melbourne v Brisbane game as well. So if you want to enter that, thanks to Your Average Target Frog, he's got a spare ticket for the game. It's a junior ticket under 14 years, but I mean, even if you're over 14, they don't check the age anyway, so you can still win it. If you want to win it, comment down the tips for both the games this week. So for Melbourne v Brisbane and Collingwood v Freo. It's not a winner and margin comp or anything like that. Just comment down your tip and margin, and I'll let you guys know if you've won or anything like that. So just yeah, let me know. Hit me up on Instagram or emails if you do end up winning. I'll pick a random winner on the Thursday. So that's that over and done with. We'll quickly review last week's tips, the qualifying finals. Obviously, it says here that I got nothing. That's because I've really stopped with the tipping. Like, I haven't been bothered actually entering my tips, which doesn't make sense. I do my tips videos on the camera. Yeah, I don't submit them for whatever reason, but yeah, I did tip 2 out of 4, not the 0 out of 4 as it says before. You watched my tips last week, you know what I tipped anyways. I did tip the Tigers to get the job done against the Lions, just like pretty much everyone else. And yeah, I quite frankly didn't see the Lions bring it up to the occasion, but they did on the weekend on the Thursday night. And one of the best games I think I've ever seen in a final. High scoring, fast paced, and free flowing. 17 lead changes, I think is a record in a final and almost a record in any game, not just the finals. But yeah, the Lions got the job done by 2 points to advance to a semi. It's sort of a controversial finish with the Lynch goal at the end, or so-called goal. The second game on the Friday, we had the D's take on the Swans, a game that I did at 10. If you haven't watched the vlog yet, you can do that now. The D's, yeah, they started pretty decent, but the Swans just gradually got the game onto their terms, just sort of similar to the way that the Swans won the game between these two sides early this season. And they just grinded that win, the Swans. Wasn't the greatest start for them, but they were just in the contest and just found a way to win that by 22 points. Another game at the MCG that I attended was on the Saturday between the Cats and the Pies. The epic finals encounters just keep on coming. This was no exception. Yeah, it was just close all game, really, after quarter time. The Cats weren't in front for any of the quarter time breaks, but they found a way to just get their nose over the line in the last quarter through Holmes, who kicked that goal late in the last quarter. You could argue the Pies deserved to win. You could argue they were the better team, but the Cats just found a way to win it. And finally, the Cats, for them, they were able to win a qualifying final. For the first time in quite a while, they're into the prelims, for a home preliminary final, I should say. And then the last game of the round, these games, these exciting thrillers just keep on coming. No exception in this one. Freo v the Western Bulldogs. Who would have seen the Dogs get out to a 42-point lead early in the second quarter? But then the Dockers, they just, found momentum. They found the game on their terms and they clawed back the 41-point lead, and they just dominated after halfway through the second quarter, and they just, ran over the top of the Dogs. They just didn't look like they had anything going for them in that second half, the Dogs. And the Dockers, wow, what a turnaround, really. At home, in front of a home crowd. Probably the best game the Dockers have played in quite a while. The best 3 quarters I think I've seen the Dockers play in quite a while. They got the job done by 13 points there. I did tip this one correct, so yeah, 2 out of 4. I originally tipped the Swans, so it could have been 3 out of 4. And also, I'll go over the big calls. I'll quickly address the big calls in a little while about what's happening in terms of the big calls and the punishments for finals. Yeah, I did get 1 of 4 big calls correct, so got to avoid a punishment for the last time. I did get the Brisbane v Richmond game right, where I correctly predicted that both sides were combined for 200 or more points. I thought that was not a bad one to get right, to be honest. And I'll still be doing the big calls for this week and next week and the grand final, but I'm not going to be doing the punishments. There's no point with just the 2 games this round anyways. So don't bother commenting a punishment if you do. I'm not going to heart it. If you want to comment something, comment down your tips and predictions for this week. Sort of a mini margin com. I might sort of go over winners in the next week's video. So the first game, we've got Melbourne taking on Brisbane, Friday night footy. First of 2 games, MCG, gonna be a good one, hopefully. Well, fingers crossed it'll be a good one. I always say this about these 2 sides, and it never promises to be the game that we all think it's gonna be. And for this game, I'll probably be streaming it rather than go into it as well. So expect to stream with a few other AFL YouTubers on this night. But obviously last week, the D's weren't able to get the job done against the Swans in a game which you would say they were favourites for. They started the game on their terms, you'd say, the D's, but yeah, the Swans just had to grind themselves through for a win here, and they did. And yeah, just continues their impressive form at the MCG, and especially against the D's. Like, their form, the Swans, at the MCG and against the D's is really good. Speaking of form against the D's, though, the Lions' form against the D's isn't so good. They did get the good win, though, against the Tigers, though, on the Thursday night. And one of the great games of footy. Great finals games. Both sides scoring over 100. It's going to be a tough task, though, for the Lions to, regain that good form and get the job done against the D's, particularly away at the MCG. Especially considering that, few weeks ago, these two sides played off in round 23, and the D's just absolutely obliterated the Lions from the get-go, and it was just a horrendous display from the Lions. And as well, I mean, earlier this season beforehand at the MCG in the same fixture, the Lions got absolutely done in another game between these two sides. So it doesn't really set for a very good game, to be honest. Hopefully the Lions' poor form against the D's turns around in this game and they can just provide a contest. Like, I don't expect them to win, nor does many other people, considering that the D's have been the far better side all year, to be fair. And let's be honest, I can't really see the D's going straight sets. It's at home. Probably could have beaten the Swans or should have beaten the Swans based on expectations. The Lions, you know, people call them pretenders, and for the right reasons. I really do think the D should win this game and should win it fairly comfortably. Like, I don't think it'll be an overall smashing, but I think the D's, you know, might be behind, you know, early on, but they'll find a way to get the game onto their terms and win fairly comfortably, in my opinion, by 27 points. If I'm going to go a big call, it's not going to mean anything, but if I'm going to go for one just for fun, I feel like the Lions could lead at half-time. So game 1 of 2 done. This is the final game of the round, and it's only the second game. We've got the Pies taking on the Dockers at the MCG on the Saturday night. I'm hoping to get tickets to this game. I haven't yet secured them, but we'll be grabbing some tonight because I'm pretty sure there are still tickets available. It's going to be a really good game of footy though. Pies v Dockers. The Pies, I was at the game on the weekend. Quite unlucky not to get the job done, considering that they've been able to win in pretty much every other close game they've been a part of during the home and away season. But the one game that matters most in the final, they weren't able to get the job done in the close one, but it was just such a good game of footy. Goal for goal, you know, Collingwood get a goal and the Cats respond. The Cats were able to just find a way to win that game after being behind for most of it. They were behind in all breaks up until the last one where they won by 6 points. And Collingwood, you know, unlucky, but they're going to be out hungry. They're not going to want to say die. They've got the never say die mentality, and it's going to be hard to see them losing this game, even though it's against a red hot form Dockers outfit who recorded one of their best wins in recent memory against the Dogs. The game that I thought they were gone in the first quarter. In the second quarter, early on, they were down by 41 points. But they just stayed in touch in the game. They were just able to get a goal, then get a quick one after that, and a quick one after that, down by 15 at half time. And since then, the game was completely on their terms. They dominated that second half of footy. And just the Dogs, they had no answers in that second half. I see them winning this game. I give them a chance here. I mean, it's going to be hard to beat the Pies at the MCG in front of, you'd probably say, 80,000 plus. Majority Pies fans, but I do feel like the Dockers army could come out in numbers here and cheer the Dockers on for a win here. I sort of feel like they could potentially transfer the form from the finals in week 1 to this game. I feel like it could potentially be a come from behind win again. Honestly though, I feel like if there's going to be any game that's a close one this round, it'll be this one, and most people probably predicting this to be the better game of the two. Collingwood fans won't like me for this. I think the Pies have every chance of winning this, and they're probably the favourites for the right reason, but I do like the Dockers in this one. I just see something in them that they can potentially get the job done. I'm going to go a close one though. Dockers win it by 5 points. And a big call, sort of similar to last week's game. The Dockers win the game after trailing by 24 or more points. And I've tipped the D's and the Dockers. The Dockers obviously in a bit of an upset because we don't want to be too basic or too boring. Now, of course, we will review the tipping comp and we'll see who's on top of the ladder after the qualifying final week. Before we do that though, we'll go through the tips for last week. We had 35 people get a perfect score of 4. They get an extra tip correct there. We got 40-22 with a correct margin of 2. In fact, we had 3 people with a correct margin of 2. Kane Farrell, Brisbane Lions 20-22. And these were all the people that all got a perfect score. Well done to them. And with Nick Dacle's official only tipping 1 game correct on the weekend, sees Lion Boulder overtake him in the tipping comp. It's pretty close though. Look at this. Dockers Army in third with 179. Same with Buck for Life, Platinum, Stephen Nairport, Flagmantle, and Jacko AFL. Yeah, still really don't know who's going to win this. I think top 3 all get prizes. So, we'll see what happens in the next few weeks. It's not over until the end of the season, officially grand final day for those wondering. Considering there are only the 2 games this round, it will be a shorter video obviously, but I'll try and make it as long as I possibly can compared to all the other semi-finals tips predictions. But yeah, ticket giveaway just like last week, so comment down below your tips and margin for both of the games. It isn't a winner margin comp for the tickets, but it's just for a bit of fun. And thanks everyone for watching. I'll be trying to pump out the content as much as I possibly can during the finals. And I'll see you guys soon in my next video. Cheers.